Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and in this video we're going to be painting another one from Urien. This is Urien, and again we have some metallics on here to paint, so we are going to be sponsored once again by the Army Painter via the metallic coloured paint sets that they kindly sent us to use. Hopefully I will get through to doing some of these in the first part of the video, but the whole series is sponsored by Army Painter because I'll probably split this video, as I usually have done, in about 2 or 3 videos. So let's get cracking, shall we? So the skin tone we're going to be using is also the Army Painter, and it's the Jasper skin, the Dorado skin and Amber skin. Slightly paler and paler we go as we carry on with some of these minis. I just want to sort of show this set off properly and show how they can be used. Now obviously it's a case of they're to be used as in a group of 3. So we have a dark skin, a medium skin tone and a pale skin tone. So the first one to go on is the dark skin tone, which is the Jasper skin, and we just need to get some water on our brush to lubricate it, and into the paint we go. And we have quite a bit of skin tone to work with on this mini. Also, I'd like once again to thank Andy from Wigan Wargames and RPG Club for giving me the opportunity to put together and paint these minis, even though they are a pain in the arse. But hey, they have been an experience, shall we say. I didn't make them on video because they are very, very tricky to put together. There are absolutely no instructions on how to put them together, so it's just basically a case of I would go to look at photographs and see how they were supposed to go, and hope I managed to get it right. Some I did, some I didn't. Some of them I thought the actual pose from the whatchamacallit, the pose from the slightly warped resin gave a much nicer and a much more dynamic feel to the mini than the actual pose how it should be. But once again, that's just personal preference. I'm hoping that Andy, when he sees them, will like them. So far he has, so we can just hope that he will continue to. Anyway, as I said, this is Urien from I call it Arena Rex, one of the actual, I think it's the Roman Legion faction. I can't remember what it's called, but there we are. That's all the skin. I thought there was more skin than this on this fella, but it looks not. So just make sure that on the paint is moved around, so it's given a nice good coverage. And from there we can look at the metallics. In fact, let's not look at the metallics yet, let's look at something different. The metallics, what's that? Barbarian flesh, don't want that. Okay, I don't seem to have any left, so we're going to be working with corn red first off. Now this corn red will just be going on there like so. Next leather brown. This is, as you can see, a Army Painter brush. Sorry, Army Painter paint. I'm just saying brush then because I was cleaning my brush out and my brain was not completely disassociated itself with paint and moved on to brush, but never mind. So we have this. I'll just add some of this to our palette. There we go. Not a very deep colour of paint, as you can see, but hopefully deep enough, because we're going to add some red and some of this colour into it as well to make it a little more browner. I was looking for Doombull brown but couldn't find it, but let's see how this one works. I'm going to use this for these little dangly bits here, not sure what they're called. Yeah, I have actually looked and cannot for the life of me remember what it is now. But we get there eventually. The colour's entirely up to you what you use. I just wanted to use like a brownish red colour for this bit, and hopefully I can get it to look the way I want it. And fingers crossed it goes on well. I will obviously be doing a little more to this as time goes on. I won't just be leaving it this colour. It won't be highlighted. It won't be washed and highlighted. But at the moment it just needs to be base coated, and that's what we're doing here. Not sure whether that's supposed to be metal belts or what, but surprisingly enough, in fact no, I'm not going to make it a metal belt, I'm just going to do it slightly different. Now in this video hopefully you will I think I made some mistakes in the previous video series in regards to the sound and the image for editing. I don't know what I did, but the video quality didn't seem to stay as I wanted it to, but you know what, hopefully it'll improve on this one. I think I put something on part of the video and I can't remember what it was. So we have that, and what can I do next? I'm going to leave that as is for the time being. I'm going to class that as being gloves that he's wearing. So I'll go over it with some of this leather brown. So he's got like some brown leather gloves on to give a little protection to his hands. As he's fighting in the arena. Now, you can see I'm only doing this on the gloves, I'm not doing it anywhere else. The buckler he has in his hand will be painted different, but I'm not bothered as yet about paint going on anywhere other than where I want it, because it's acrylics and I can always change it. I'm also going to put some of this on these horns here, on his helmet. I don't want to make these metal. I want to make these look as though they are real horns that have been attached to the helmet. I don't know why, it's just suddenly come to me. So I thought that's what I'll do. You know, you don't have to plan every move of what you're doing. I know some people say you should do, and I suppose it makes it easier if you do have a plan, but I prefer to be more fluid and more open in what I and the decisions I make as I'm painting. I don't like to have everything pre-planned. So that's the way I paint the way I do. It works for some people, may not work for you, may work better for you. Everybody's painting technique is individual to themselves, so treat it that way. Now then, let's get on to the helmet. What colour for the helmet should we use? Now I don't want to go too bright or too dark, so our first metallic colour paint from the heavy paint we're going to be using is Tainted Gold, and that's what we're going to be using for the helmet. So we'll give it a good shake. And I don't want it on the wet palette, so I'll pop that over there and bring in CD palette, and I'll pop some of this down here. Now I only want this on the helmet, I don't want it anywhere else. So that's all place I'm going to put it. I will be adding to this as time goes on. I'm being careful now not to put this on the skin or on the horns that I've painted, because although I said you can go over again, this is you know, what I've already done is sort of like a base coat. So, well, it is the base coat, so I don't particularly want to go over that and then having to keep going over it to what's the word I'm looking for, to keep making the adjustments for kernless painting. I'd sooner paint it how it looks, how it's supposed to look, and get the paint in the specific areas. Now there is, as I've just seen here, a little bit sticking up that shouldn't be there. It is a bit of flashing. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But I saw it then and I want it off because I don't think it's going to make the helmet look any better. So just make sure that we get underneath, towards the edges of the skin, but not actually going onto the skin. I mean, obviously if you do catch the skin, no big deal. You always go back and forwards and keep making adjustments, but I'm trying my best not to get it over anywhere I've already painted before, because I want to keep it neat, nice and neat. Now, if I'm painting somewhere that is just next to anywhere where it's the primer, then obviously I'm not going to be too fussed about getting it on the primer. But where it's sort of like against something that is painted already, I'd sooner try and be a little more careful. I'm going to go over this, the handle of this axe as well, in this gold colour, because I do quite like it. And I have noticed I have just gone over some of the skin there on his hand, but again I'm going to be coming back over that later on to not just wash but re-establish colours. So there we are. That's that done, that's that done. That looks done. This spike isn't, so we just need to go over that. There we are. I'm quite happy with that. And let's go around the centre spike and the cartouche on this buckler and around the very edge of it as well. That's smashing. Just what we want. Being careful. Well, not being really careful, but because again it's just on it's only on primer, but now we get to the going around the hands. I need to be careful not to get it on the hands, but that won't be fine. We can do another colour in the middle there. It's not we can, we will be doing. And you know what, while we've got this paint out, let's do this shoulder pad as well. And we can, if we wish, come back and just touch up and do other colours on it. We don't have to stick with this, but I'm trying my best not to get it over anywhere that's not going to be metallic colour, just because I don't want it to look metallic when I put the next bit of paint on, if it's not going to be a metallic one, because sometimes the metallics can show through and that's not helpful. Okay, there we go, that is that. So I'm happy that we have that done. Next job we will be doing with, let's do the belt, shall we, for the next bit. Right, I have some paints tucked in a bottle, in a cup here, because I take them to the art club with me and paint some minis there. So I'll pop them in there, and we'll go and put the palette, put the CD palette away and bring back the wet palette, because for this one we're going to be using just normal paints. Try not to put metallic colours on a wet palette. I've heard it's not terribly a good thing to do. Abyssal Black is the one we're using. This is again one my painter, but it's for the D&D sets. Ooh, that does look nice. Let's clean that nozzle a little bit. Doesn't look much better, but at least hopefully it does the job. There we are. So here we're going to be going over the belt. Just the belt, we're not going over this bit in the middle. Not quite sure what this belt is supposed to be made of, but I'm painting it black. Now if it is metal, it's just basically painted, shall we say, over in like a matte black colour, just for a sense of whatever explanation as to what's happening with it, I suppose. I mean, I suppose I could go and have a look at other photos, of what other people have done, but that would mean I'm following somebody else's ideas and not my own. And as you know, I'm a firm believer, if you're going to make it, do it, or if you're going to paint something and it's not, you're not being paid for it, you've not actually been given any formal, I want these colours, that colour, I want this done in that, and you know, then paint it how you want to paint it, and as long as it's As long as you're happy with it, that's all that matters. And then as time goes on, the more you paint, the more different techniques you learn, the better your quality of painting gets. And that's that. You do tend to improve quite a bit if you start painting regularly. I'm not sure what's in here, but I'm going to paint it black anyway. It's painted like it's got some form of undershirt type of thing on the go with it. Same with this part here under the chest plate. There we are. So we've got that. We've got them done. And here, go like that, and like that, and it looks as though he's got something. Looks as though this is some form of metal or some such. I'm going to paint there black as well, and there, because I'm not quite sure whether that's. I may actually look up what these bits are, just to put my piece, just for my own peace of mind. But I think that's it for the black so far. Okay, next, let's go and highlight nothing because I don't want anything highlighted. Let's go back into the metal. I'm going to bring in CD palette once more, and this time we're going with gemstone. So we're going with reds in this one rather than greens. There we are. We just seemed a kind of a right colour to use. Bear with me a second. I'll just try some on this piece of paper. Okay, and that will do nicely. And for this, we'll go on the leg armour here. There we are. And we'll just make sure that we get all of the armour covered. And again. This is a lovely colour of red. Metallic red. I do have proper artist paint or for painting, which or for painting pictures, as it were, not minis. They're metallic colours and they're acrylics, and they do not have as much pigment in it as these do. They have to go over a background colour in order to look metallic. These, you just paint them and they're there. They are done, and they are done really nicely. Right, next job. I have just noticed some little bits of flashing under here. There we are, that's it, got rid of that. not a problem. Now then,